Hi everyone. Welcome along to Tuesday Art Chat. I'm just checking my connection and everything looks good. Tuesday Art Chat. And my volume off. Okay. I also wanted to just type in. Hold on before we get started. I just want to. I'll put it in afterwards actually. I just wanted to put a link to the latest Creative Spark art box, but I will do that afterwards. So all right, welcome along. Let me know if you can hear me, if you're watching, all the rest of it. I'm pretty sure my sound and everything will be good. Facebook seems to be playing really nicely with me today. So I'm coming in through Zoom because I want to share my screen a bit later just to show you guys something. So today I thought we could talk about starting art later in life or getting back into your art later in life. As women, artists, of course, I find, not everyone, but a lot of people I talk to are very much the same as me. And you did art all through school. You know, I wanted to go on after high school and do a commercial art or graphic design degree, but my parents weren't that rich, so they couldn't afford it. So I got a job. So I tried to look for every art job out there. I ended up finding a job as a face painter actually at Expo 88. That's showing you my age. So first job straight out of school was a face painter for 6 months. It was so much fun. It was brilliant. Great job. So that was kind of art related. And it actually was a really good learning experience because all throughout my life, I have done face painting here and there. If I wanted some extra money, I'd go and set up a market stall and do some face painting. I also taught my daughter as she got older to do face painting, and her and me used to go out to the Redcliffe markets and do face painting every Sunday. So it would give her, she was about 15, I think, gave her some pocket money, gave me some pocket money to buy art supplies, I suppose. And she went on to become a makeup artist. So that was one of my favourite jobs, actually. It only lasted 6 months, but it was brilliant. So good morning, Marianne and Jennifer. So then, of course, I still wanted to try and do something art related. I ended up in some factory doing photo touch up. It sounds really good, but it actually wasn't. It was they made circuit boards. So they had a negative of a circuit board, so the little dots and lines everywhere, and you just had to sit all day through a magnifying glass and look if there was any little bits of the sort of paint or whatever that's on there missing off these circuit boards, and you just had to touch it up with a paintbrush. So that was factory job. And then I ended up, my father-in-law asked me if I wanted to be a sign writer because he was going to start a new business, and I jumped at the chance, and then that was me. I was a sign writer then for 27 years. I think it was 27, maybe not quite that much. So my whole career kind of is art related, but believe me, sign writer is not that art related, especially we were on computers. We started right when computers came in. So it was more computer work. Most customers did not get you to design anything. They came in with their work, or it was just words. So it wasn't as, it was still arty, but not fun art, let's put it that way. So like I was saying, a lot of women I talk to have had careers, or they've had to look after their family. I've got 3 kids. And of course, we always put everyone else in front of ourselves, don't we? As mothers, especially. So, so my art sort of took a back burner. I constantly tried to do craft stuff. I love crafty stuff. I did a lot of folk art painting. I used to make photograph albums, like cover them for our wedding album, things like that. I did paper towel. I think I've tried everything actually. So that was all the crafty stuff I was doing, but yeah, just in when I had a bit of spare time. But it wasn't until, I'm saying later in life, once the kids all left home essentially, or they became, pretty self-sufficient. I'm talking like 15, 16 and upwards. So they may have been at home, but I was still working, but I was actually starting to then get back into my art a little bit more. Just at night, I set myself up in the garage and started doing more then. But it really wasn't until we moved to this farm and retired, essentially, semi-retired. We still have to make a little bit of money. That I really started to focus in my art. And I know a lot of women I talk to are the same. They've spent all their life looking after everyone else, and they may have loved art in school and it's just taken a back burner, or they've never done art and they're now retired and they've got all this time. So that's when they want to start doing something with this time. And what better thing to do than to get into art? So that's sort of the topic today, was getting either back into art or starting on your art journey later in life. And there's artists out there that really didn't seriously start painting until in their 60s to 70s, and they're quite well known and making good income. But the whole thing is, when you're retired, it's a bit like me. I'm semi-retired, so I don't need it essentially as a huge income source. And I know a lot of people that are retired, they just want a little bit of pocket money maybe to pay for more art supplies. That's it. So, but don't think you can't turn it into a full-blown career at 60 or 70 if you want. All right. Hi, Karen, Di, and Bev as well. So that's sort of today's topic. So I've got notes, I've got some tips here or some ideas. So the first one is start with the basics. So if you haven't done anything for a long time, or you're just starting, then of course trying to start with some fundamentals is always good. Inside our the Creative Barn membership, we have a fundamental stage, so that's for people to go back and forth. They want to brush up. So pretty much learning to draw shapes, shading, knowing which way a light source is coming from, all of that sort of stuff. Color fundamentals is always handy as well. Something you could also do if you're just starting back into it. And this is something even I should be doing every day. And it's a habit I think I might try and get into. We all need to try and get habits like, how we brush our teeth. It's such an ingrained habit. You don't even think twice about it. So a habit like even a 15-minute sketch every day. So get outside, look at your closest tree, plant, rock, whatever, even your railing, a bucket, whatever you've got, and just try freehand sketching it. Just 15 minutes. And I'm sure we can all spare 15 minutes. And maybe make it as like brushing our teeth, like you do that either sort of morning, night, before you go to bed, or say your 15-minute sketch time is straight after you've had a coffee in the morning, or just before, if you tie it in with something else. If you've got a habit, I usually go and do the animals and then come and have a tea. I don't really drink coffee, but if I could tie it in there, so that's the habit I do every day, and go, right, as soon as I've had my coffee, I go and sketch for 15 minutes, then I start with whatever else. Or maybe before I do the animals, I sketch 15 minutes. If you tie it in with another habit that you do every day, it's easier to create that new habit. So that would be the starting point, I would say. If you're just trying to get back into it or you're brand new, start to look at, there's so many resources online, YouTube, all of that. Just start looking for things like shading practices, using line, like I said, colour, beginners for colour, drawing shapes, all those fundamental lessons of art. Okay, so then another thing would be to explore new mediums. Now, I'm a pastel lover, but I find because I do realistic art, it's very like in your head, really focused work. So occasionally I love to just start. I've got watercolors, I've got hold on, my daughter is trying to call me. She always picks 9 o'clock on a Tuesday. So I've got watercolors, acrylics, oils, I've got everything. Like I said, I've tried everything. But I did focus in on pastels, and that's when I did improve a lot more. But experiment, that's the thing. I'm starting with the membership as well. I talked to them yesterday about this. It's going to become a regular weekly habit as well, is to do creative play. So we're just going to do a 1 hour session every week, same time, same day, where we're just going to play, not necessarily we might talk to each other, but not necessarily to follow along with each other. We're just going to play. So that, I think, if you can get into that as well, try all different mediums. You might find you absolutely love watercolor, or you absolutely love oil, or pastels. Hopefully you'll love pastels. But start if you don't have any of these supplies, just start with some cheaper stuff, just from, Crazy Clark's or wherever. Just some student grade paints would be fine, colored pencils, all that sort of stuff. And just start playing, just making shapes, putting different colors down together. I want to try inks. I want to try different papers. So and with that experimentation, you'll start to see what you love, what colors you like, what mark making techniques you like, and you can then bring that, if you're already an artist, you can bring that into your work already. That's why I want to do the creative play, because I want to loosen up a bit and maybe try and combine some different mediums with the pastel and just experiment. That's all it is. It's all comes down to experimenting and playing, and it will also help you find your style, I suppose. The best way to find your style is to just draw a lot or paint a lot, just not, 1 hour a week. I know people have other commitments, but if you really want to try and find your own unique style, you need to paint a lot or draw a lot, and you need to play with colors or just experiment, and that will start over time. You'll get more and more of the style, and you'll be drawn to what you like best. So hi Diane, Odette as well. Oh, I should have brought a drink down. All right. So okay, next, seek inspiration. So in the last Creative Spark art box, so 3 months ago, I put the book by Austin Kleon, How to Steal Like an Artist, and it's all about finding inspiration. As artists, nothing we do is original. Okay, we might think we're original, but we're not. We are influenced by every little thing around us, whether that is color or styles, other artists, nature, just everything. So definitely seeking inspiration and giving yourself time as well to just soak it all in. Creativity comes when you allow space for that to happen. If you're busy all the time, you're not resting to be able to think of these things and be creative. So that's why we all love painting so much, because you get into that flow state where you just sort of switch off, and it really does get you inspired and everything. But I know if I'm busy all the time, nothing new comes to me. You have to give yourself that space. So like, yeah, everyone probably know, when you're on a long car drive and just sitting in the car, no radio or anything, that's when ideas come to you. I have a little, I've got an app on my phone. It's called Boomerang, I think. And you can either type in it or talk into it, and it sends that as an email, because I know I use notes on my phone, and I put little notes in there of ideas, and then I'd forget about it. I wouldn't even look at the note I put. But this, because it emails me, so if I'm driving and I have this amazing idea that I want to make sure I don't forget, because it goes in one ear and out the other with me, I just voice into my phone and just say with the idea, and then it just sends it straight to my email. So then say the next day, or when I'm checking my emails, I see the idea, and that's when I'm actually at my desk, and I can make sure I write it down properly and sort of don't lose that idea. So so seek inspiration, but give yourself that space for inspiration and ideas to come to you. So with inspiration, like, you could go to an art gallery. That's pretty obvious. That's a good one. Different art books, just looking up different artists online, join Facebook groups with artists in that you love their work. You could start a Pinterest board as well, where you start to collect, say, palettes, color palettes you love, artists. I've got a whole folder of other artists' artwork that is my inspiration folder. So there's different styles of their art, and you'll know when you see one, especially sometimes you're on Pinterest or you're just on the internet. I'll just right click and save it into my inspiration folder, and you start to see, once you've built up a lot of that, you'll start to see a style coming that you're drawn to, and especially colors, and that's how you can then bring that into your own work. And there's nothing like being inspired by others, especially we do our monthly member meetup and art chat, and it's just other artists coming together talking. It can get you really inspired, because you're sharing ideas and that, and you just sort of can't wait to go home and try that. So definitely seeking inspiration. So it's definitely not like Austin has in his book, stealing like an artist. So you're not, if you were just copying the same artist's work over and over, that of course is copying and stealing. Whereas stealing like an artist is more about taking inspiration from all different forms of art, which I'll talk about that a little bit more. We were discussing this yesterday in the membership about the AI generated images. So it's a similar thing. All right, number 4, practice regularly. So consistency is obviously key. Like I was saying before, that you need to draw and paint a lot to sort of start to develop a style and all the rest of it. So definitely my advice would be to try and get your own little space, so a little sacred space. You could have candles and nice smelly stuff happening in there, somewhere that you love being, even if it's just the corner of a room, but it's your corner of a room, and you can decorate it how you want, and no one's going to touch it. So that's sort of the first thing to really get you inspired, is to have your own little art space. Okay, so I'm in the garage. It is absolute bomb zone. So I need to have a good clean up and rearrange and start making it. I want to hang all my paintings up one wall, and I've just really got to put time aside to actually make this space a bit nicer than what it is. It's a very working art room. It's very messy. So yes, so practice regularly, and like I said, consistency is the key. So even if you can set aside an hour a week to do art, or even better, an hour a day just to draw would be great. But whatever suits you. And if you want to get better at art, it's like anything. You need to be motivated and put in that time. So you can't just say, oh, you know, every couple of weeks I might do an hour, and then whinge later that you're not getting any better, you're not improving, you're no good, I can't do this, can't do that. You've got to really put in the time to get better. So whether that means getting up earlier or readjusting your schedule to try and find an hour, stop going on social media maybe for an hour, don't watch Farmer Wants a Wife or something, I don't know. You know, if you want to be serious about improving, then you need to give up something for your art. Okay, so all right, take advantage of online resources. So this one comes back to what I was saying about Steal Like an Artist as well. So first of all, online resources, there is so much out there. We're in the best age for learning with free. There's so much free learning, like there's YouTube, of course. A lot of people put up, artists put up free, like I've got the ocean tutorial and the beginner's guide to pastel painting, that's all free. You'll find most artists have some part, if you go on their website, they will have some sort of free resource for you. Nothing's as good as being in an actual membership or course, because it's structured learning, whereas if you're getting free stuff, you're sort of all over the place. You learn a bit here, a bit there, which is fine if you can't afford to pay for something. But like I said, there's so many free resources, but there are paid ones as well. So there's all online courses, YouTube, I said, art forums, Facebook groups, art communities, all of that sort of stuff. So, but what I was thinking as well with an online resource, this is what we were talking about yesterday in the membership, was AI generated images. So I just wanted to share my screen with this actually. So I don't have a problem with AI generated images. I understand some artists that are very well known and have a distinct style might have a problem, but I can see it being useful for artists for creating reference and sources. So just let me try and share my screen here. Hold on. Okay, let's go with this one. Share screen. Okay, yep, all right. Oh, hold on. Let's move this up a bit. There we go. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Let me go back there. Yep, okay. Oh, there's too many buttons to press. All right, this is a AI generated image. Okay, and so this is when you do an image generated like this. So this is from Deep Dream Generator or something like that. You type in what you want it to have written, like what you want the picture to be. So in this one, I think it was charcoal drawing of a bird. Okay, and it also had, this wasn't one I did, it was one that when you go into there, all these other people put up images so you can see what they've looked for and what's come up. So they had charcoal image of a bird. Then they had, you can put in there different artists that you want it to be influenced by. So I just wanted to, I'll have to just stop sharing this so I can go on to another one, I think. Okay, so I want to just go back here. Hold on, sorry guys. Okay. This one, okay, share. Okay, so they had in that image of that girl, when they put it into the generator, it was a charcoal drawing of a bird, but then it was influenced by Anne Dittman, which you can see her style here. It's very women's faces and watercolor, which obviously was influenced in that other picture. They had Dee Nickerson, was this one here, which I actually couldn't really see the influence in there at all. And then Steve Hanks, which probably, again, maybe the face. I'm not sure. I could see a lot of Anne Dittman's influence in it. Okay, let me just, again, I'll go back to that other image. Screen share. Okay. So what I'm trying to sort of get at is that even though they've put those influences in there, so other artists, this is the image that was generated, which, you know, to me, it's not really, it's a complete original because it's taken bits from everywhere, all different sources, and created this image. Now, if I type in exactly the same words, exactly the same references, it would then give me a completely different image. Okay, so every image is unique, but it can be influenced from other artists. But I wouldn't, because I'm an artist that hand paints, essentially, I wouldn't just use this image and print it. I would use it as a reference source to create my own drawing. So I see it, the AI generated imagery, very helpful for artists when you're trying to come up with something. Now, especially we were looking at, all right, hold on, I've just changed that again. Hold on, I'm losing everything. I want to show you a different image. I'm just trying to find it. Okay. So yesterday, not share screen. So yesterday we were all sitting on Zoom and we typed in that we wanted a picture of a mermaid with lots of fish in the ocean. And this is what came up. So we didn't put any influence from any other artists. This is what we just typed in. And this came up, and then we did it exactly the same again. And it was a different image of a mermaid underwater. It was actually really pretty. But this is where I can see it quite helpful, especially for mythical creatures like mermaids, dinosaurs, dragons. Not that dinosaurs are mythical, but dragons, things like that, where, you know, it's a bit hard to find a reference image to base your drawing off. So you could sort of just type in, without referencing any other artists, just type in some stuff and it'll throw you back a few ideas. So, you know, and then you might take certain bits of this. You might like the color palette here. You might like this particular fish or this bit of coral or the way her hair is, you know. So this is where I think the AI generated is really can be quite useful. And then I just want to show you one more, which is one I typed in myself. Okay, this one here, I just put in charcoal drawing of a bird, I think, with bright colors, something like that. I can't remember exactly what I typed in, but this came back, which, yeah, is very, I think I want it contemporary. This is where I'm trying to evolve my art and my style to be a bit more modern. more contemporary than just, you know, an animal. So I really loved, like, I wouldn't copy this image at all, even though it's unique to me. It's unique to, like, no one else, if they typed in the same stuff, would get the same image. But firstly, I don't even know what bird that is, but I do like the way there's a few bright colors in it. But what I do love is this tree in the background, this charcoal sort of soft blended tree look. I really love that. So that's something I could probably incorporate in a different drawing. So this is where I was saying keep different references. So I'll keep this as a inspiration reference. Or yeah, I might like this bottom corner where those branches come down, and maybe not the bird on there, but just those branches are really cool. So I wouldn't mind incorporating that into something. I love these bits of green moss on here. So you see what I mean? How I really do think that the AI generator, I'm not, as a hand painted artist, I don't feel we should be worried about AI generated images. If I was a digital artist, maybe, because I know my customers want a one-off original. They can see the lines, they know it's hand done, and that's it. Whereas a digital artist, of course, their work has to be printed, which that's where this AI generated artwork, it has to be printed as well. So I know a digital artist can take hours and hours and hours drawing their painting, whereas others can, who aren't even artists, can just go into a generator like that, type in some stuff, come up with something, print it out and sell it. So that's where I think it would be a bit of a worry if I was a digital artist. But I know my customers, that's not what they want. They don't want anything printed. They want a hand original piece like that they can sort of see the marks. So, but I do think it's a great tool for artists for coming up with references. So I'm just checking other comments here. I can't see any, so that is good. All right. So yes, don't be scared of the AI generated stuff. It can help you. Okay, and it just lastly, embrace the learning process. So what I mean by that is be patient with yourself. It's not just about the end result. And allow yourself to make mistakes. Okay, so especially if you're just starting back into it, you could get really frustrated with yourself because you're, you know, a bit rusty, and you're probably thinking, oh gee, I used to be able to do this all right and now I can't. But things, yeah, it takes time again and practice. And then if you're just starting, lose the attitude that you can't even draw a stick figure, because we all have to start somewhere. So and just do it for the learning process and the fun of creating art and getting into that flow state, they call it, where time just flies, and you've sort of, all of a sudden you'll be drawing, and the next minute, you know, it's lunchtime, or, you know, hours have gone by. And that's what we all sort of strive to get into, because everything is easy then. Things just sort of come to you easier. And that's what I really can't wait to start this creative play, because it's not about thinking or making a mistake in any way. Think about, you're just going to throw it away. It doesn't matter. You're learning different techniques. And if you happen to come up with some really cool picture, like some sort of abstract that the colors really work, then you can just sort of put it in a frame as well. So I'll just run through just again. So number one was start with the basics. So back to the fundamentals. Number two was explore new mediums. So yeah, I always tell everyone to focus on one, but that's after they've done all this playing and experimenting, they actually know what they want to do. Then you start to refine it, because once you focus on one medium, or one style, that's when you see improvement. Then seek inspiration. So yeah, start a Pinterest board, start grabbing different artworks and different color palettes, or even different photographs like of beaches or whatever inspires you. Start to put all that together and you'll start to see some sort of a pattern emerge there. And also make sure to join different art groups for inspiration as well. Go and visit a gallery. Practice regularly. Consistency is key. Then take advantage of online resources. So like online classes, Pixabay is another one for reference images. Make sure they're copyright free, of course. Yeah, art communities, YouTube, forums, all of that. And then embrace the learning process and just enjoy it. Okay, so that is my Tuesday chat. So make sure if you have any questions, pop them in there, but don't know if there'd be questions about what I'm talking about today. Now, the latest Creative Spark art box, which side can I go to? I don't know if you can see it. No. Oh, there we go. No, I'm lagging. No, you can't see it. Hold on. There is a polar bear back there. There we go. If I stay right out of the way, if I come back to this side. So the polar bear is what we are, what the tutorial is in the latest art box. Okay, so, and it has just opened up. There are only, I think, 7 boxes available this time around, or not available, but left over from all the existing subscribers. So they get their boxes and then what's left goes on sale. So I think there was 10, 3 have already gone. So I think there's only 7 left. So if you're interested in the Creative Spark art box, this is a one-off box. It's not a subscription because I'm remodeling the whole art box, which I'll let existing subscribers know all about that. Say next month, I'll let you know what I'm doing there. So this box, it's not the last box, but it's now not going to be a subscription base after this one. So you can just sign up and you'll just get that box. You don't have to worry about it recurring or anything like that. Okay, so that I'll put, that's what I wanted to put in this, hold on. I'll just try and find the link. I want to put it in the chat so that if anyone is interested in that, they are going fairly quick. And once those extra 7 that are left now are gone, then that is it for that box. So just let me come here. So I'll just put the link in the comments right now if you are interested. So, okay. Marianne, you're having fun playing with the turtle water while listening to you. Awesome. Well, that turtle, Marianne, the coral and the water, it is just playing, really. Put it down, step back, have a look, add a bit more, step back. Just try not to get it muddy. So yeah. All right, good morning, Julie. I'm just finishing, so you'll have to rewatch the replay. So yeah, so that is the only thing I had to tell you, was the art box is released. I think that is it. So all right, thanks for joining me, and I will be back next Tuesday for Tuesday chat. I'm not sure what I'm talking about next Tuesday. I sort of come up with it the day before, as you probably can tell. And we'll also, we might even do another drawing one in the next few weeks. So we'll see how we go. All right. Thanks again. And I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.